Okay, so you want to learn more about Johannes Kepler,
Yeah,
one of the key figures of the scientific revolution.
definitely.
You've sent us a bunch of excerpts from his biography, and honestly, they look fascinating.
Yeah.
So let's take a deep dive into the life,
Okay.
the work, and the philosophy of this remarkable astronomer.
You probably know him best for his laws of planetary motion.
Yeah, those are famous.
But trust me, there's so much more to Kepler.
Oh, I bet.
He was a true Renaissance thinker, blending math, astronomy, philosophy, and even theology into his work.
Right, like a lot of thinkers back then, he was deeply religious. But at the same time, he was a groundbreaking scientist.
For sure.
I was reading about his obsession with those geometric shapes,
Oh, yeah.
the platonic solids.
Yeah.
He actually thought they were the key to understanding the whole universe.
Right. That's wild.
It might sound a little out there today, but think about it.
Okay.
Kepler was trying to tackle this huge question. Why are the planets spaced the way they are? Yeah, it's a good question.
By trying to fit the orbits of the planets into these nested shapes, he was searching for a grand geometric plan underlying the cosmos.
Wow.
It speaks to this deep desire we have to find order and meaning in the universe.
Okay, let's unpack this. Kepler was born in Germany in 1571.
Right.
And his life wasn't exactly easy.
Not really, no.
His dad was a mercenary, for goodness sake.
Yeah, not your typical astronomer's upbringing.
No, not at all.
But his mom, Katharina, really encouraged his intellectual curiosity,
Okay.
even taking him out at night to look at comets and eclipses.
Wow, talk about a supportive mom.
Yeah,
That early encouragement definitely planted the seeds for his later work.
absolutely.
He ended up studying at the University of Tübingen, right?
Yes.
That's where he first encountered the Copernican theory,
Uh-huh.
the idea that the Earth revolves around the sun.
Yeah,
That must have been mind-blowing at the time.
absolutely. It was a pretty radical idea back then,
Yeah.
going against centuries of established thought. This encounter with Copernicanism had a huge impact on Kepler's life and work.
It did.
Oh yeah, it set the stage for his own revolutionary thinking.
So a few years later, in 1596,
Okay.
he published his first major work, Mysterium Cosmographicum.
That's right.
This is where he lays out his model of the solar system based on
Guessed it.
the platonic solids.
Exactly.
You know, today we might chuckle at the idea of fitting the solar system into these geometric shapes, but think about it.
Okay.
Kepler was trying to tackle a huge question. Why are the planets spaced the way they are?
A fundamental question.
It was an incredibly bold attempt to find a unifying principle behind the seemingly random arrangement of the cosmos.
That's right, a very ambitious project.
So he's basically trying to explain the whole universe with geometry.
That's basically it, yeah.
That's ambitious, to say the least.
He was a very ambitious guy.
Was he even close?
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
The model, while ingenious, didn't really hold up to later observations.
Oh, too bad.
But it showed Kepler's brilliance and his willingness to think outside the box.
Right.
It definitely got the attention of other astronomers, including the famous Tycho Brahe.
Now, this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Tycho Brahe was this brilliant but kind of eccentric astronomer.
Oh, I know about Tycho.
You know, the one with the pet moose?
Wait, a pet moose?
Seriously.
No way.
But more importantly, Tycho had this incredible collection of astronomical data, the most accurate and comprehensive at the time.
Wow.
A real treasure trove for any astronomer.
Oh, absolutely. That kind of data was like gold.
Yeah.
What happened next? Did Kepler get his hands on it?
He did. Kepler went to work for Tycho in Prague.
He did.
This was a major turning point because he now had access to all this amazing data.
But
It laid the groundwork for his most important discoveries.
that must have been an interesting collaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've read, Kepler and Tycho had very different personalities.
Oh, really?
Kepler was more of a theorist,
Right.
while Tycho was all about observation and data collection.
So a real clash of styles.
You could say that.
But ultimately, they needed each other.
That's true.
Kepler had the theoretical vision, and Tycho had the data to back it up.
Oh.
When Tycho died suddenly in 1601,
Oh, wow.
Kepler took over as the imperial mathematician.
He did?
Now he had full access to all of Tycho's observations.
That's incredible.
So tell me, how did Tycho's data lead to Kepler's famous laws of planetary motion?
Well, Kepler was obsessed with the orbit of Mars,
Oh, really?
which had puzzled astronomers for centuries.
I see.
You see, it didn't quite fit the whole planets move in perfect circles. idea that everyone assumed was true.
Right. Circles were considered perfect and represented this ideal of harmony.
Yeah.
So what did Kepler find?
Using Tycho's incredibly precise data, Kepler meticulously analyzed Mars's path and came to a revolutionary conclusion.
Okay.
He found that the planets don't move in perfect circles.
If they don't.
They move in ellipses.
Whoa, that's a huge discovery.
It was.
Talk about shattering centuries of assumptions about the heavens.
Exactly.
This is his first law, right? What about his second law?
So for his second law, Kepler discovered that a planet's speed changes as it travels along its elliptical path.
Okay.
It speeds up as it gets closer to the sun and slows down as it moves farther away.
Hold on, I'm trying to picture this.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the line between the sun and Mars sweeps out equal areas in equal times.
That's it.
What does that actually look like?
It means that the planet covers the same amount of area in its orbit over a given time period,
I see.
regardless of where it is in that orbit.
So it has to speed up when it's closer to the sun to cover that same area, compared to when it's farther away and moving slower.
Yes.
It's all about a balance between distance and speed.
Precisely.
Okay, I think I get it.
Good.
And like the first law, this was based on carefully analyzing Tycho's observations.
Absolutely.
Kepler really was a genius.
He was, but he was also a very philosophical guy.
Oh.
He wasn't just content with figuring out how the planets moved. He wanted to understand the deeper reasons why they moved that way.
Yeah, I see.
It's like he was searching for the underlying code of the universe.
So he wasn't just a brilliant mathematician. He was also a deep thinker.
He was.
What were some of his philosophical ideas?
Well, for one, he believed that his theories reflected the actual reality of the universe.
So for him, they weren't just abstract tools for making predictions.
Not at all.
They represented something deeper.
Yes.
A true reflection of the cosmos as it really was.
That's right.
That's interesting.
It is.
So he thought the universe was governed by these real physical causes, not just mathematical relationships.
Exactly.
And he even had some early ideas about a force emanating from the sun that influenced the planets.
He did.
Sort of like an invisible tether connecting everything together.
That's a pretty cool way to visualize it.
Yeah.
Of course, Newton's theory of gravity would later explain this force in more detail.
Right.
But Kepler was definitely on the right track.
And he applied this same philosophical approach to all of his work, not just astronomy.
Right.
He also made some pretty groundbreaking discoveries in the field of optics.
Absolutely.
He even figured out how vision works.
He did.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
Kepler was clearly a man of many talents and interests.
Absolutely, a true polymath.
But there's still more to discover, right?
Definitely.
I mean, we can't talk about Kepler without talking about his fascination with harmony.
That's right, we can't.
You're right, and that's a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll delve into Kepler's ideas about harmony, music, and the universe, and how he tried to weave them all together in his final masterpiece.
Sounds good.
This is where things get really mind-bending.
I'm ready.
Stay tuned, because it's about to get even more interesting.
Can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Johannes Kepler.
Okay, so we've been talking about Kepler's groundbreaking work in astronomy. His love of geometry and this idea of a harmonious universe.
Right.
It's all pretty mind-blowing.
It is, and now we're going to delve even deeper into Kepler's philosophy.
Okay.
Specifically, his ideas about knowledge, mathematics, and the role of hands-on experience in making scientific discoveries.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready for more.
Well, Kepler's philosophy was really intertwined with his scientific work.
Oh, okay.
He believed that true knowledge wasn't just about describing what you see. It was about understanding the underlying causes,
Okay.
the fundamental principles driving the natural world.
So it's about going beyond just the what, and digging into the why, right?
Exactly. He was searching for that deeper level of understanding, one that connected the visible phenomena to their hidden causes.
I see.
And for Kepler, this search was deeply connected to his religious beliefs,
Okay.
his faith in God as the creator of the universe.
So for him, scientific investigation was almost like trying to understand God's design.
Yes, and that brings us to another key part of Kepler's philosophy, the importance of mathematics.
Right. We've already talked about his fascination with geometry.
Yeah.
Using Platonic solids to model the solar system and discovering those mathematical relationships that govern planetary motion.
But for Kepler, Math wasn't just a tool.
It wasn't.
It was the actual language of the universe.
Wow.
He believed that God created the world according to mathematical principles, that the harmony and order we observe in nature are a reflection of this underlying mathematical structure.
So by studying the laws of nature, Kepler thought he was basically uncovering the blueprint of creation.
Exactly. It's a powerful concept.
It is.
And this is where his Platonist leanings come in.
Okay.
Remember Plato's idea about the world of form?
Yeah, I kind of remember it.
These perfect eternal archetypes that exist beyond our senses.
Okay, refresh my memory on that one.
Well, Plato believed that the physical world we experience is just a shadow of this higher realm of perfect forms. Things like the perfect circle or the perfect triangle. And Kepler connected these forms to mathematical concepts.
He did?
For him, these mathematical forms were more than just abstract ideas.
Okay.
They were the blueprints of reality itself.
Whoa. So he's saying that math is basically the foundation of the universe.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy stuff.
It is, and this is where his preference for geometry over algebra gets really interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Kepler believed that the most beautiful and fundamental mathematical concepts were those that could be constructed using just a compass and a straight edge.
Okay.
Like in classical geometry. He felt that these constructions reflected the divine order of the universe.
That makes sense, considering his love of geometry.
It does.
But wait, if Kepler believed that mathematical forms were the key to understanding the universe, why wasn't he a fan of algebra?
Good question.
It seems like a pretty essential tool for any mathematician.
That's a great question, and it reveals a lot about Kepler's unique worldview. You see, he saw algebra as a kind of shorthand, a way of manipulating symbols without really grasping their underlying geometric meaning.
So he felt that it was too abstract, too removed from the real world.
Exactly. For Kepler, true knowledge had to be grounded in geometry.
I see.
In those fundamental shapes and forms that he believed made up the universe.
Yeah.
To him, algebra missed that connection.
So even though he was a brilliant mathematician, he had his philosophical preferences.
He did. And for all his emphasis on math and these ideal forms, he also placed huge importance on experience.
What do you mean?
On observation and experimentation.
Wait a minute. Didn't we just establish that Kepler was a Platonist?
Yeah.
Someone who believed in those abstract mathematical forms as the ultimate reality?
That's right.
How does that fit with the importance of hands-on experience?
That's what makes Kepler so fascinating.
Okay.
He was able to hold seemingly contradictory ideas together.
Right.
He was a mathematician and a mystic, a theorist and an empiricist.
I see.
He embraced complexity.
I like that, not trying to oversimplify things.
And his emphasis on experience was a key part of his scientific process.
Okay.
Remember all that time he spent analyzing Tycho Brahe's meticulous observational data?
Yeah.
That data was essential to him in developing his laws of planetary motion.
He wasn't just sitting in an ivory tower playing with numbers.
Yeah.
He was out there testing his ideas against the best data available.
Right. He believed that mathematics was the language of the universe, but he also recognized that you needed observation and experimentation to confirm and refine your understanding of that language.
Okay.
For him, scientific discovery was this back-and-forth dance between theory and observation.
So he combined the best of both worlds.
He did.
That's why he's considered such a pivotal figure, isn't it?
It is.
He helped bridge the gap between the ancient, more philosophical approach to knowledge and the modern scientific method.
He was a true pioneer, standing at a crucial turning point in the history of science.
Yep.
And then there's that other element we've been hinting at, his fascination with harmony.
Right, this whole idea of the universe as a grand symphony.
Yeah.
I'm still a bit fuzzy on what he actually meant by harmony, though.
Okay.
It seems like it went deeper than just music.
You're right. It's a complex concept rooted in ancient Greek philosophy and music theory. For Kepler, harmony wasn't simply about pleasing sounds or beautiful arrangements. It was a fundamental principle governing the structure and movement of the entire universe.
So he saw harmony as this unifying force, this underlying order connecting everything in the cosmos.
Exactly. And he believed that this harmony was expressed through mathematical ratios.
Okay.
The same ratios that the ancient Greeks had found in music.
Like the mathematical relationships between different musical notes.
Yes, exactly.
I vaguely remember learning about that.
Consonant intervals and things like that.
Yeah.
Kepler believed these same ratios could be found in the movements of the planets.
Oh, interesting.
Their distances from each other and their orbital periods.
So he's literally hearing the music of the spheres.
In a way, yes.
Wow.
He envisioned the movements of the planets as a celestial dance,
Okay.
choreographed by mathematical principles and expressing this underlying cosmic harmony.
It's a beautiful way to think about the universe.
It is.
But did he actually find any evidence to support his ideas about these musical ratios in the solar system?
His specific ideas about planetary music might seem a little far-fetched to us today.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the important thing is his core belief that there is this profound underlying order to the universe.
Right.
That's not just a jumble of random stuff.
So even if he didn't quite nail the specifics, he was onto something big, that there's a rhyme and reason to the way the universe works.
And for Kepler, that order, that beauty, was expressed through mathematics, through the elegant harmony of numbers and geometric shapes.
It sounds like Kepler was way ahead of his time in many ways.
He was.
His ideas about a mathematically ordered universe? Yeah.
The importance of empirical data and the search for underlying causes are all really important to how we think about science today.
Absolutely. And his work still has the power to inspire scientists and thinkers today.
Oh, for sure.
His endless curiosity, his courage to challenge established dogma, and his unwavering pursuit of truth make him a real hero of the scientific spirit.
He wasn't afraid to be wrong.
No, he wasn't.
To revise his theories, to keep searching for deeper meaning.
That's right.
That's inspiring.
It really is, and it's a powerful message for all of us, whether we're scientists, artists, or just curious people trying to understand the world around us.
Right.
Kepler reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is a journey, not a destination. It's about embracing the unknown, asking big questions, and never giving up on the search for truth and beauty.
I love it. Okay, so we've explored Kepler's philosophy,
Yeah.
how it shaped his scientific work.
Right.
But I'm curious about the man himself.
Okay.
What was his personal life like?
Good question. What kind of person was he?
That's a great question. Kepler was a man of many dimensions, just like his work.
Oh, really?
He was brilliant and eccentric, deeply religious, but also open to new ideas.
I see.
He was driven by this burning desire to understand the universe and his place in it.
Okay.
But he also faced a lot of personal challenges and hardships.
It's good to remember that even the greatest minds are shaped by their experiences.
Absolutely.
Their relationships, their historical context. It makes them more human, relatable.
Absolutely. And his story shows that even amidst adversity, the human spirit can prevail.
Okay.
So are you ready to explore the more personal side of Kepler?
Definitely.
To delve into the life and times of this extraordinary man?
Let's dive in and discover what made Johannes Kepler tick. Okay, so we've been exploring Kepler's groundbreaking astronomical discoveries and his mind-bending philosophy. And now we're finally getting to the man behind the science.
It's time.
Kepler's life was a real roller coaster, right?
It was, yeah.
He faced all sorts of challenges, both personal and professional.
Definitely.
Imagine trying to revolutionize astronomy while navigating the religious and political turmoil of 16th and 17th century Europe.
It was a tough time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy time to be alive.
It was.
And we know he wasn't exactly born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
No, not at all.
Didn't we mention his dad was a mercenary?
That's right. His family was really poor.
Yeah, really tough circumstances.
But despite their circumstances, Kepler's mom, Katharina, saw his potential.
Okay.
And made sure he got an education.
Wow, she sounds amazing.
She was.
Talk about a mom who nurtured her child's passions.
She really did.
That early exposure to the wonders of the night sky probably had a huge impact on him.
Oh, absolutely.
But I imagine life wasn't all stargazing and deep thinking for Kepler.
Not at all. Money was a constant worry for him.
Oh, right. I imagine so.
To make ends meet, he had to take on all sorts of odd jobs.
Acid jobs.
Even writing horoscopes for people.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
That's ironic.
It is, isn't it?
Considering he was trying to move astronomy away from astrology.
It is kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
But it shows how resourceful he was.
Yeah, very resourceful.
And on top of the financial struggles, he faced a lot of persecution for his religious beliefs.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, this was a time when Europe was deeply divided between Catholics and Protestants.
Right, those religious wars were brutal.
They were.
So where did Kepler fit into all of this?
He's a devout Protestant.
Okay.
But even within his own church, he faced opposition.
Really?
Because his views were seen as unorthodox.
Interesting.
He was even excommunicated from the Lutheran Church at one point.
Whoa, that's serious.
It was.
To be ostracized by your own community like that.
I know.
It's incredible he was able to keep doing his work with all that pressure.
It's a real testament to his strength of character
and
his dedication to his scientific pursuits.
Speaking of dedication, Kepler's personal life was also full of ups and downs.
He was
married twice and had a big family, right?
He was his first wife, Barbara Miller, sadly died young.
Oh, that's sad.
But his second marriage to Suzanne Roettinger was much happier.
Okay.
She provided him with a lot of companionship and support throughout his life.
That's good to hear. At least he found some happiness in his personal life.
He did.
But he also experienced some real tragedies, didn't he?
Yeah, several of his children died in childhood due to illness.
Oh, no.
Which was a devastating experience for him and his wife.
That's heartbreaking to lose so many children.
It is.
It's hard to imagine going through that kind of pain. And still having the energy to pursue such demanding intellectual work.
It's really remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Through all the turmoil, all the hardships, he never gave up.
Wow.
He kept searching, kept questioning, kept pushing the boundaries of human knowledge.
That's incredible.
It speaks to his resilience and his unwavering belief in the power of the human mind.
So what can we learn from Kepler's life beyond his amazing scientific discoveries?
I think his story reminds us that science is ultimately a human endeavor. It's driven by people, real people, with their own passions, struggles, and flaws.
Yeah, people like us.
Exactly. It's not just about cold, hard facts.
Right.
It's about human beings trying to make sense of this crazy, beautiful universe we live in.
And Kepler's life shows us that progress doesn't always happen in a straight line.
That's true.
There will be setbacks, disappointments, and even times when you feel completely alone.
But Kepler never gave up.
That's inspiring.
He reminds us that even in the face of adversity, the pursuit of knowledge, the desire to understand our place in the cosmos, that's a powerful driving force.
It is.
It can help us overcome incredible obstacles.
His story is also a powerful reminder of the importance of intellectual courage.
Absolutely.
Of having the guts to challenge established beliefs and pursue new ideas, even when they're unpopular or controversial.
He wasn't afraid to question authority, to think outside the box, to follow the evidence wherever it led, even if it meant going against the grain.
That's an important lesson.
It is.
That's a lesson we can all apply to our own lives.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Johannes Kepler, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listeners will remember?
I think it's this. Kepler's story is ultimately a story of hope.
A story of hope.
It's a story about the power of human curiosity, the resilience of the human spirit, and our endless capacity for wonder and discovery.
That's beautiful.
It reminds us that even in the face of immense challenges, we can achieve incredible things if we dare to question, to dream, and to never stop searching for truth and beauty.
Beautifully said. Kepler's legacy continues to inspire us to look up at the stars with a sense of awe and to never stop seeking those hidden harmonies that connect us all.
Absolutely.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
It was my pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed exploring the fascinating world of Johannes Kepler.